No, I think with regard to the whole issue of justice, perhaps the greatest contribution and the greatest discussion in the Catholic Church today is something that originally came out of liberation theology. Liberation theology, as it originally grew up in South America, but it talked about what is today called the preferential option for the poor. This term had not been present in Catholic thinking before that time. Now, in fairness, there should have always been a concern for the poor, and we hope there was. But the liberation theology made us very conscious of what they called the preferential option for the poor, that God has a special care and concern for the poor. You know, there's it's very clear in the Scripture, you know, that God is going to protect the poor. God is, all you people oppress the poor, but God will be their protector. God will be there to take care of them. And God has this preferential option for the poor. Now notice I said preferential. You see, what we have to do here is to understand that God's love has to include all people. But you can include everybody, but you can have a preferential option for the poor. So a primacy, a concern, a primary concern for the poor. And I think it's precisely this idea now that has to be behind so much of our social justice understanding today. That this preferential option for the poor, what does it mean for us? Well, certainly it means that the care and concern for the poor has to be the primary consideration we have. And what does this say about the system we have in our country? What does it say about what we do? For example, I propose that one practical ramification of this is that whenever there's a question of law or public policy, the first question we should raise is, what effect is it going to have on the poor? Now, unfortunately, in our society, every group there is, including churches, has their own political action group, their own PAC that's looking for them. Doctors have it, labor unions have it, churches have it, etc. But there's nobody looking out for the poor. And it seems to me this is precisely what the churches should be doing. That this is the issue that we have to push into the consciousness of the American public and the American ethos, is this preferential option for the poor. And it seems to me that this is a very significant thing that the Catholic Church and Christian churches in general and others can very much make as a contribution to the American public life today.